Hey, what's up everyone? If you remember, I reported on this a while back when it was first reported and reported on again, but now the latest developments coming out of NPR News, thousands of Swedes are interested in this and have now been inserting microchips under their skin. So this was the image shown from the previous article that they have shown again back in 2017. Technology continues to get closer, the article says, and closer to our bodies, from the phones in our pockets to the smartwatches that some people wear on their wrists. Now, for some, it's getting under their skin, literally. In Sweden, a country that's rich with technological advancements, thousands have actually had microchips inserted into their hands. So this is really taking off in that area now. Thousands of people in Sweden have inserted the microchips into their body. These chips are designed to speed up the daily routines and make their lives more convenient and easy, accessing homes and offices and gyms as easy as swiping your hand. Open your vehicle, start your vehicle, do all kinds of things by swiping your hands against digital readers, rather than actually starting your vehicle with a key and doing all kinds of things as you would normally do without using anything else. Just swiping your hand using an electromagnetic frequency by way of NFC, what's known as near field communication. So they also can be used to store emergency contact details, social media profiles, e-tickets for events, and rail journeys, basically bus passes. They store your medical information, they store all of your financial information, and pretty much all of anything about your daily life and your personal information is stored on these microchips. So proponents of the tiny microchips say they're safe and they're largely protected from hacking. One scientist is raising concerns today that privacy concerns are all around with this kind of thing. The kind of personal health data that might be stored on these devices can be hacked, according to several individuals. Around the size of a grain of rice. Some of these chips are barely even visible, but yet they typically are inserted into the skin just above the user's thumb, using a syringe similar to that used for giving vaccinations. And who knows, they could be doing this, as many military people have stated, and we've personally heard military people state this. I'm not going to state when or where, several years ago, but where I'm not stating. But we've heard many interesting things. We ran upon a military person that stated that all the military personnel are microchipped. All military soldiers and all military individuals are microchipped without their consent. And when you get vaccinations, they sometimes use you as a test individual. And they actually microchip people without their consent, even though that's unconstitutional. So, I believe that. This person spoke with us stating that they microchip people without their consent when they give vaccinations and shots, and they take all of your blood and store your DNA. They don't need that much. They don't need 4 or 5 vials of blood that large just to do a test when you go to the doctor. But what do? They always want to do that. Think about it. And they also put the military people's DNA on file and also microchip military people unconsensually. Just stating. So, many of the Swedes your DNA is already on file, whether you think so or not, I'm sure, but many of the Swedes are lining up now to get these microchips that the country's main shipping company says it can't keep up with a number of requests. More than 4,000 Swedes have adopted the technology. They said it's used in their homes, the businesses, on the go, their vehicles, everywhere. It's dominating the market over there. The professor, who's a body piercer, stated it's dominating their area. So having different cards and tokens and verifying your identity with a bunch of different systems just doesn't make sense. So now they're going to be using a chip, means that their hyper-connected surroundings that they live in on a day-to-day basis can be streamlined, and all they have to do is scan their hand, as you see. But he's using his left hand, not his right hand or forehead, as the prophecy states. But it is leading toward that direction, and what's responsible for that is already here. I mean, it's obvious. But many early adopters of this come from Stockholm. And this news is not being spread enough, so I felt like I needed to share this. Also, if you look up Real ID, the Real ID program is stated, it was under the Bush administration, and the Obama administration reinstated it by 2020. It's going to be forced, if they don't change it, the Real ID program, international identification, where you have to have this Real ID, microchip stuff, all of this in the ID card. I don't know about in your body, but on the card, and it has to be a facial recognition and biometrics technology. You have to accept it, and you have to be in it, and your face has to be recognized, and your DNA and face has to be recognized before you can enter any federal building or public business. That is a fact, and it's written under documents from the Bush and Obama administration, both started back in 2001 after 9/11, which took away many of the freedoms, as you know that, and it will be instated, another YouTuber stated, by 2020. So you can look that up, the Real ID program, 2020 forced implementation. Now, moving back to this article, Swedes have been using this quite a bit now, and the trend is spreading. The people say, oh, it has benefits. Yeah, well, bad news is coming. Sweden's largest train company, and I stated when I was a child, I had a feeling that they'll sound like there's tons of benefits. You get all kinds of rewards and benefits from it, but you're in that system and you're in there, and it's going to turn out bad for your spirit, your soul, and the consequences are dire. I just need to share this. I mean, it needs to be spread out there. Thank you all for sharing with me, by the way. Thank you all for speaking with me, and all of your kindness and compliments. I see no problem, he says, for it becoming mainstream. I think that it's something that can seriously make people's lives better, he says. Yeah, it's not going to go in a good direction. This is coming. Men shall seek death and shall not find it. It's everything that we see written is taking place, and they're pushing it too. And yeah, it's taking off over in Europe and in Sweden, countries over in those areas. It's spreading like wildfire. Swedes are used to sharing personal information with many online purchase administrative bodies, they said, so their social security numbers and things are required. Mobile phone numbers are widely available in online search databases, and people easily look up each other's information by calling the tax authority. So this is spreading to a next leap and a bound, basically, to have your information readily available through Microchip. There are few vocal critics in Sweden's microchip trend, and there are currently no national legislation or regulatory programs regulating the growing industry. And they really need to think about this, but they're not going to. What is happening now is they claim relatively safe, and it's not. But if it's used everywhere, if every time you want to do something, instead of using your card or using your keys or using you can use a chip inside you. It can be very, very easy to let go of your personal information, he said. Your physical health, your bodily functions, it will always share data. The chip shows it can share data about your physical health, your bodily functions, what you were doing, where you're going, and all of your vital signs. I mean, that's really an invasion of privacy. The microbiologist is working on the science of communication so that becomes a daily thing, routine. But anyway, the device will include 2 kilobits of memory. Kilobytes double that of earlier implants, but the range of functions, that's all it needs for its range of functions, with the LED light designed to improve the privacy of blinking if someone tries to read the access of the implant, supposedly. Now, they said he has a hard time seeing the rest of this world following the GDPR program anytime soon, thankfully. But at least all of Europe, he said, I mean one continent, it's a good beginning. It's all of Europe is pretty much accepting this, and they're banning the Bibles everywhere, so people have no way to, you're not allowed to see the Bible online in China. They're no longer allowing Bible sales on Amazon in China, or you're in trouble, and you can't spread the word, can't spread prophecy. Europe did this in many places, so people have no way to see the truth, and I just feel like we need to get the truth out there, so I just wanted to share this video. And in case anyone is watching this video from anywhere, just think before you jump onto a trend, because think about eternity, think about just think. Even if you don't feel this way, think about your privacy and think about your own individual health. Think about the consequences. Not just spiritually or eternally, prophetically, which I believe personally, but just think about the personal worldly consequences that this could have. Not just that, if someone takes over the system, if something takes over the system, which will happen, they've got you, and they've got you under their control. And it's easier for world domination and world control by that system. Just like prophecy states, whether you believe it or not, I don't feel this is heading in a good direction. I wouldn't accept this, and I really wouldn't want nothing. I would want nothing inside. Technologically wise, I wouldn't let them insert anything inside my body, as long as it's not inside my body. The microchips on the cards, I understand they're more on your debit cards. I understand they're more secure. I get that. That's where I draw the line. They required that, but they're not putting it on me or inside me without consent, and that's just wrong. And just think about it. People need to think. Anyway, I just wanted to share this latest news regarding the microchip implant that is coming. So, this is my information that I added, and I elaborated a lot, and just shared my feelings, my thoughts, and my feelings on this. Just my personal opinions, but not just my personal opinions, but it's true. I mean, it's also, if you're not looking at it in a prophetic standpoint like myself, a point of view, look at it in a privacy and safety point of view, but you should be looking at it in a prophetic point of view as well, eternally. So, anyway, God bless, much love, and thank you all for your comments, your kindness. I love you all. Much love and peace. Go ahead and please share this video, spread this information so others can become aware. Maybe people in Europe will see this. I mean, they're not allowed to see anything about it otherwise, because they've banned so many things in so many countries and continents, entire continents. The Middle East and Europe, China. It's crazy. Anyway, the United States is doing the same thing, restricting freedom of speech, religious liberties, and laws, and spiritual information. It's being restricted greatly. The rights are being violated. Anyway, this current administration has really helped out greatly against the discrimination of the Christian people and believers in Christ. You see a lot of Christmas stuff out there now, Jesus Christ stuff, things, all kinds of things. You actually see it. And during the previous administration, they were stopping a lot of it. Even though that the wise men of the manger scene, you don't see it in the Bible now, which is an ME for me and my family, my parents, but you see it in the stores now. You see Jesus Christ in the store. You see Merry Christmas. You see Christmas trees again. You see so many. You see the decorations, the peace on earth, the wise men, Bethlehem. You see Jesus Christ, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. You see the Jesus is the light of this world. You see all of this in there. So they weren't even allowed to speak it or even say Merry Christmas before. They just said Happy Holidays or whatever. And President Trump was correct on that. He said there was a war on Christmas. It was true. And there was a war on our rights. Invasion of privacy and invasion of rights. And he's correct on that. And he did stop that and allowed, of course, the other side, the left is like, oh, no, there wasn't a war on Christmas. What are you talking about? Of course they didn't see it. They weren't being violated because they don't care. But we seen it. We witnessed it. There was a violation of our rights, our freedom of speech and expression, and there still is. But at least that part has been allowed. And you can say Merry Christmas without there being an offense or people being offended or issues or problems like that. It's just crazy. But crazy that they even had to reinstate that. Crazy that they even had to make a law about it. So anyway, President Trump did do that, and he's done several things, but there's good and bad, positive and negative. But anyway, I just wanted to state that at least so far we're not accepting that here, and hopefully we're guided in a direction to where we don't accept that. So I'm sure they'll try to knock it out and redo everything, and I'm sure they'll try to bring it back into the United States whenever this administration is finished. But I just wanted to share this information, and just think. Um, it's dangerous. Much love and peace. Bye.